We got Roger Earl here from Foghat. How's it going these days?
It's going great, actually. Life is really good. We had a release over in England called Not Live at the BBC, which it wasn't. And we have a new album being released June 15th over here in the States and in Canada called Last Train Home, which is a studio album of blues songs, some classics, and 3 or 4 new songs as well.
So tell me a little bit about Last Train Home. It took you a long time to record it?
Yeah, half of it was recorded about a year and a half ago out here on Long Island, where I live, and the other half was recorded over this last winter down in Florida,
Okay.
in DeLand. Gets a little chilly up here, by the time December rolls around. So we have a band house down in near DeLand, and we turn it into a recording studio, and we finished the album up there. We had a couple of guests on the album. My brother, Colin, who used to play Mungo Jerry and has a band called the King Old Boogie Band. He's playing piano. My older brother, that is.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to make the most of these things because you don't know how long you're going to be around, right? And a friend of ours, Lefty, Sweet Lips Lefkowitz, is playing harp. And Eddie Kirkland, Eddie Bluesman Kirkland, who I met back in 1977. We did a show in New York City at the Palladium there called Foghat's Tribute to the Blues. Basically, Foghat was the house band, and we supported Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker, Johnny Winter, Paul Butterfield, Eddie Bluesman Kirkland was where we met Eddie, and a number of other blues luminaries. That was probably a highlight of my career. And we reconnected with Eddie and invited him to come down and play on this new album. We did about 6 or 7 tracks with him, but we only managed to get 2 on the record because, you run out of space.
Right.
But Eddie is really a great blues artist, a great singer, and a great guitar player. I'll tell you a quick story. He just got back from a tour in Europe. Apparently he's pretty big over there. And he lives in Macon, Georgia, which is about 400 miles from us, and where we live down in Florida. And he got to the hotel, and he called up and said, what time do you want to pick me up tomorrow? And I said, about midday. He said, okay. He said, because I have to get up early in the morning and put a new alternator in my car and some new brake shoes on the back. So Eddie gets up. He's 86 years old. He put a new alternator on his car, new brake shoes on the back of his car, and he's sitting outside ready to rock. He's got his guitar and his little pedal board and his amp. And we got back to the house, and he played for about 8 or 9 hours with us, and it was an absolute blast. I think Eddie Kirkland he's a great artist, and it was a lot of fun. So, and I'm really excited about the record. There's a lot of good stuff on it, and I'm really happy with it. Not that I was unhappy with any of our other records.
But this one you're really happy because, it's fresh out of the oven right now.
Yeah. The blues is something that I've always been real close to. I mean, it's basically what kind of started me off down this road, and we're coming to Canada this year as well. We're coming there June 16th, 17th, and 18th, I think, and we're playing the Windsor Blues Festival. We're playing Ontario, and we're playing Ottawa. So we're playing 16th, 17th, and 18th, and it's going to be terrific. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's nothing like going to Canada in the summertime. It's usually good.
No, it's a lot of fun. It's nice out there, and they're all blues shows. Yeah, July 16th, we're in Windsor, Ontario. July 17th, a Saturday, we're in London, Ontario, and Sunday the 18th, we're playing the Ottawa Blues Festival in Le Breton Flats. Yes.
And any idea in the future for, a DVD, upcoming DVD again?
Yeah, we've been working on it. Over the last 4 4 or 5 years, we've recorded and filmed a number of shows, and we've narrowed it down to 3 that we particularly liked. There was one we did up in New Hampshire. There was one we did last July 4th down in Philadelphia that was particularly good, but we only had an hour to play. And probably going to do it. That will probably come out next year, I think. You know, we're going to be busy promoting these 2 albums right now.
Now, for the album too that came out on Angel Air Records, you know,
right.
That album, not live at the BBC. Where did you get the name for that album?
Where did we get the name from the album? I think we were sitting around the table after dinner. We probably drank more than our fair share of wine, and we didn't really want to call it. You know, it was recorded at Echo Studios out here on Long Island for the Mark Klein show. And as it was just going to be released in Europe, nobody's really heard of Mark Klein there or Echo Studios. So I decided that I thought it would be humorous to... Everybody's got live at the BBC, the records out. So this was not live at the BBC. And Peter Purnell thought it was funny, and so did we. And we said, "Are you all right with that, Peter?" And Peter said, "Yeah." So... that's how it came about. I'm really pleased with that as well. It was everybody. We've been touring, so everybody, you know, had their chops together, and it was kind of like a rehearsal, really. It was. There wasn't really an audience there, so it's a little difficult, sort of, on that part. But it was enjoyable, and I think the quality of the sound. We had our front of house engineer Carl Davino was mixing it, so it goes direct to 2-track, so you can't like remix it or do anything with it. But I'm really pleased with it. It was a lot of fun.
It's a really good mix, you know. If it's just mixed like that, 2-channel mix, it sounds great. This album.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, it was our own front of house engineer, and he's been with us for 20 years, I think. So he knows what we're supposed to sound like, and. I guess he must be good if he's been with us that long, right?
That usually is true, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it was very enjoyable doing it, and I think it turned out real well.
Hey, Roger, let's go back. You know, recording the album "Fool for the City." You know, the session of that days. You remember that much? You know, like what you had on your drums and stuff.
Yeah. Fool for the City, we started recording it, I believe, in 75. It actually came out in 76. Nick Jameson had just joined the band playing bass. Nick Jameson had been our longtime producer. He'd worked with us on our first album, and he produced a couple of other albums with us. And he was the head engineer at Bearsville Records. And I lived up in Bearsville at the time, and I used to jam with him at the local clubs and stuff, and with some members of the band. And I asked him if he wanted to, play bass. And apparently, his first instrument that he played was bass. So he joined the band, and we were rehearsing down here on Long Island, and we were looking for a studio. And Nick and I drove up to Sharon, Vermont. On the top of a mountain, there was a studio called Sun Trailer Studios, and we went there, just Nick and I, and we set up drums and amps and stuff, and played and banged around, and we liked the way the stuff sounded. And about a month after that, everybody else came up, and that's where we recorded it. It was a lot of fun. It was really enjoyable. It was the first time, actually, that the band had ever taken that much time off. We took nearly 3 months off of the road to record that album. I didn't do it in a solid, 3 months. We'd take a break in between, but it was the first time we'd really spent a lot of time making a record other than the first album, because we were so busy on the road. After the first album, the 4 in between that were done at various different studios, but Fool for the City was the first album that we really had lots of time to get it right, and I really enjoyed making that record. Working with Nick Jameson was a real pleasure.
For the album cover, whose idea was it to make that?
I think it might have been Nick's, actually. Nick has a rather warped sense of humor. In fact, he's an actor now, though he is still recording. He's the president in 24. He's the Russian president in 24.
Okay.
He's also played in the TV series Lost, and he has a number of parts in various films. I still keep in touch with Nick. We're tight, and in fact, the last time I talked to him, he said that he was getting back into recording and writing. So, it was his idea of me on the front cover. I said, okay, fame at last.
And now you're immortalized on that cover.
Yeah. It's you can't take yourself too seriously, I don't think. You're in a rock and roll band. It's all about the music anyway.
Traveling these days, how is it different, than in the early days? No more buses, I'm sure it's all planes and stuff now.
Yeah, I don't miss the buses, because basically you're away, for months and months on end. We play probably maybe 8 months of the year. We play like 2, 3, maybe 4 times a week most, and they're all fly-ins, and we get to come home during the week. So, you can go to the restaurant and nobody's there. You can go fishing and there's nobody out on the water, and you get to play golf, and the courses are fairly open. So, your life is real good. I love playing. The guys in the band, we're all friends and we hang out together. I think it shows on the last record we did that we finished off down in Florida. I'm real fortunate, I get to play drums in a great rock and roll band. How bad is that?
In a big name band, Foghat. Can't complain at all.
No, I don't complain. Doesn't do you any good anyway.
And, is there songs you never get tired of playing?
No, the band, right from the very beginning, always maintained control of artistic control. So, if we didn't like, tunes or whatever, then we didn't do them. But no, I enjoy playing the songs. Fall for the City, Slow Ride, Just Want to Make Love to You, Stone Blue. No, I really enjoy it. And Foghat's made, 18, 20, 25, I don't know how many CDs or albums. So we have a lot of material to choose from, and each year, before we go out on the road, there's probably 6 or 7 songs the fans want us to play. But we usually pick 2 or 3 or 4 songs from the albums that we haven't done, if ever, or for a long time. So it's we keep it fresh that way.
Gives a real treat to the audience too, like that.
Well, we hope so. That's why we're doing it. Otherwise, you'd sit in your living room and play.
Well, Roger, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Jason. Are you going to be able to come to the shows when we play in Canada?
Probably not. It's still far away from me. I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Oh, you are a long way away. You're right there. That's northeast coast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there. We played there 3-4 years ago with Creedence Clearwater Revisited. I loved it out there. I wanted to do some fishing, but unfortunately I had to leave the next morning to do another show.
It's not good when you have to cancel fishing to play a gig, is it?
You got to do what you got to do.
Awesome.
Beautiful part of the world up there, and maybe next time we come up there I can have some time off.
Well, it'd be great to see, Roger Earl, Brian Bassett, and all them up here.
Yeah. Brian is an absolutely superb guitar player, and he mixed and engineered the last 2 records, actually. Well, the last record, Last Train Home, he mixed and engineered. So, he's a great guitar player, brilliant engineer, and a good friend. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that.
All right. Roger, you have a good one. All right?
Same to you.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon.